Donald Trump arrived at the G7 economic conference today in Canada, and he used an initial press conference with G7 chair Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to air Russia's grievances about being kicked out of what was then the G8 after Russia invaded and annexed Crimea, part of Ukraine, back in 2014, I think. Prime Minister Carney had just publicly welcomed Trump to the summit when the president launched into his claim that there never would have been a full-scale invasion of Ukraine had he been president. The G7 used to be the G8, Trump said, before attacking Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in a statement. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have war right now if you had Russia in, and you wouldn't have war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. He talks about himself in the third person, and that's pathological. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8, and now it's, I guess, what's that, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake, and I wasn't even in politics. And I was very loud about it. It was a mistake that you spent so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table, so it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war, and other than that, I think we're going to accomplish a lot. Other than that, everything's great. After asking about trade with Canada, whether the U.S. would get involved in the Israel-Iran conflict, a reporter steered Trump back to the topic of President Vladimir Putin. Trump added that he wasn't saying Russia should be let back in to the Global Policy Summit because maybe too much water has gone over the dam, maybe. Trump then mocked Trudeau again. He makes fun of Justin Trudeau because Melania and Ivanka both wanted to have sex with Justin Trudeau, saying the head of your country, the proud head of your country, didn't want Putin. After another question about Israel, Trump claimed that Putin now only talks to him. So in response to every single question that he was asked, he kept coming back to Putin. Hang on, windy. Hang on. Okay. Trump said, Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8. As I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted. And I mean, he was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people along with Obama he was thrown out. And he's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that. He basically doesn't speak to the people who threw him out, and I agree with him. Donald Trump is insane. I guarantee you Vladimir Putin has never said any of those things to him. And I guarantee you that Vladimir Putin talks to all kinds of other people. And Donald Trump is so desperate to get Putin's approval and to make himself seem important that he's just making shit up on the global stage now. And that's our president. And that's what 49.8% of our electorate thought should have a second chance. Morons. Every single one of you who voted for Donald Trump is a moron and un-American and unpatriotic, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.